Hi, I'm PJ Ash with Warbird Alley, and tonight we're doing a Warbird Alley Warbird review on the ESM P-40 Warhawk, distributed by VQ Warbirds or VQWarbirds.com. This is a 50cc class airplane. Of course, you can fly it on a G62 all the way down to about a 45, but usually the 50 to 55cc gas motor is what this plane is designed for. Has an 87-inch wingspan, of course, comes with retracts, flaps, depending on what you're looking for. They have both electric retracts for this airplane as well as air retracts depending on your need. So tonight what we're going to do is open up the box for the first time and just go over the contents of the airplane. So without further ado, let's look inside. After pulling out the fuselage, this is what we have. This fuselage is very lightweight. It's all fiberglass with panel lines, and of course the stickers are already put on. This airplane is actually all fiberglass fuselage with a wood sheeted wing, fully wood, and then it's covered with a really kind of a neat mylar, which I'll get into here in a minute. One of the neat things though about this is that the airplane fuselage and the wings are actually painted together at the factory. How many times have you seen ARFs that come out with the wings don't match the fuselage perfectly? It looks like in this case that's not the issue. It actually is painted together. But let's start here at the nose of the airplane and kind of work our way back. So starting at the nose, you can tell that there's a big hole in here. I'll show you the engine mount. It's kind of a neat concept. The engine mount actually slides into this hole, and then depending on what engine style you have with the cowling, you can adjust it before you glue it in place. And of course, as we go back through the fuselage, you can see that the wings will attach on either side with a tube going through the middle. You can sort of see some of the panels. I apologize with the quality of the video, but you can see sort of some of the rivet design and panels. As we go back to the rest of the airplane, you can see that the graphics are put on. They look quite nice. And then of course down here, as I flip this over, you can see this is where the tail gear will go. And so of course they have this right here, depending if you're going to put a scale tail gear back here or just the wire tail wheel. And of course you can look here and see that the bottom of the airplane has panels as well. Now opening up the inside of the airplane here, you can look. It's looks like we got wood construction going back through here, and actually I've noticed that they also put a high sol material. Going back into the fuselage, you can see that we've got the pull systems for the elevator and the rudder, and as well as a really good wood selection, it looks like. So going in here is where the fuel tank will go, and of course you can see right through for the engine mount that will go in. The fuel tank will go in here as well. And then, of course, this comes with a very basic cockpit, really a basic dashboard where you can put a pilot bust in. But however, it does, VQ Warbirds does sell a complete cockpit kit for this plane. So, of course, we'll put this on, and then that will be attached either with dowels or any kind of system that you choose. And so once you slide the engine component in, this is what it kind of looks like. I've left it sort of out, but of course you'd be able to slide this in and out. Let me look inside the cowling so you kind of get an idea. But you can see it going in there. So it has plenty of room to slide in and out to get that perfect alignment. Plus you have room to be able to glue or high sol the engine in place. I think this is a really neat concept. I'm looking forward to seeing how well it works. Just look at this cowling. This is one of my favorite parts about the P-40, the cowling. It is such a huge part of the airplane. And of course, as you can see, this is painted all the way through. The shark's teeth do match quite nice, and look at the room in there. You have plenty of room to basically camp out in there if you would like. Now, for some of you modelers who are interested just to see clearances and stuff, I'm going to show you the spinner here in a minute, but I wanted to go ahead and point out that we're about 6.5 there, and then of course for the engine, about the center line down, you're looking at close to 7 inches plus. Actually, if I push it down to the very end, you're now about 8 inches from where the thrust of the engine would stick out till where the head of the motor. So any 60 to 50 cc motor is going to fit this just fine. And here's our spinner. This is actually designed specifically for this airplane. As you can see, it lines up quite nice. And this is a 2-bladed spinner, and VQ Warbirds also sells a 3-bladed spinner. But again, it matches the tongue real well. Just a real smooth design. Well, looking at the wing here, this is nicely covered as well, and as I told you earlier, the wing is actually painted at the factory with the fuselage, so the camo will actually match. As you can see here, we have our aileron, and then I'm going to actually, instead of turning this wing over, I'm going to show you the bottom side of this wing. Now, the reason I did this is because you can see the wheel well here. I cut this out. This is something that you will have to cut out. You can see that this has the U.S. Army, of course, U.S. on this side, Army on the other side, and the flaps have already come pre-hinged where they go up and down very smoothly, and of course those are actuated by the servo hatch here. Again, another servo hatch that I've taken off with the ailerons. Here's a video of the actual stab in the elevator. Again, it's painted at the factory to match the fuselage, and as you can see here, the elevators look really nice. They're put on with Robart style hinges. The other thing is, I opened this up so you could see, this is a hatch that the servo will actually go into. So the servos are actually in the tail. Of course, you'll need to trim out the little access point here. But if I can show you, the airplane seems to be very well built. It's hard to get all up in there and everything, but you can see where the tube goes out. And of course the elevator, it's open, and it's hard to show in the video, but the elevator is open where it would be fabric covered like the real one. And then this is all sheeted. Now it looks like they put some lightning holes back here in the back I can feel, but again, you really can't see it. Beautiful elevator and stab set though. Well, I wanted to show the rudder separately because it has some detail on it that's kind of funny. This is the P-40, obviously named Holding My Own, and this is from a scale P-40. You can see it on the internet. There's a flying model version of this. The elevator has the decal on both sides, and of course, as before, the elevator is open. I'm pushing in a little bit. I don't know if you can see it or not, but again, that simulates the real one that was fabric covered. Now, another neat concept that this airplane comes with is a couple of scale pieces here, as well as what I'm holding here. This is the little leading edge piece, I guess, that would house some of the gear mechanisms. I'm going to have a hard time doing this with one hand, but I want to kind of give you an idea of how this works. This gear housing will go here, and of course it won't stay in place, but then I want to show you this. This fiberglass unit, once you get the gear put in, this fiberglass unit goes over top, and it looks like with the indentations they have, if you wanted to make the landing gear doors, which are really, really tiny, you could. Another option they have here is this cool piece, and this is going to go basically right on top of here like so. Let me see if I can sort of put it together, but you get the idea, and that just really cleans it up, makes the airplane look really smooth. And of course, not last but not least, they provided these wheel wells that need to be trimmed, but of course they will slide down in place like so. And so the idea is you have a real nice clean landing gear bay and landing gear area. This is the basic canopy set. Now, I didn't really get a chance to clean it off too well. However, these are the side pieces on the side of the canopy, and of course the main canopy there. These have to be cut out. There's a little panel lines, if you look right here, that you can follow as you cut them out. One of the issues with some of the canopies, they can be considered a little thin for some people. This one seems to feel pretty nice. It's not very thin. However, VQ Warbirds do sell a thicker canopy. It's not painted, but again, it's up to your choice. When you cut these, make sure you cut these with a very, very nice sharp pair of scissors or hobby knife, because they can crack. Well, here it is. This is a beautiful airplane at 87 inches. This gorgeous P-40. I'm so excited about getting ready to fly it. I will be doing later build threads on this one, actually building and flying the airplane, but here it is. Those of you who know me know that there's no way that I could have finished this without actually pushing it together and just seeing it. But again, I wanted to show you how the airplane looks all together. Of course, I kind of wanted to see it myself. So that's it for tonight. This is PJ Ash with Warbird Alley and the Warbird Alley Warbird Review, ESM's P-40.